So, look at you all clean cut. What's up with this?
Is this the first?
Huh?
Is this your
Are you,
first? It's my once a year I get shaved
So-
to the bone.
the other night, I sat on my front porch. I was dealing with a lot of contentious issues, and I listened to probably 6 times David Crosby's Almost Cut My Hair. Loud. So, you know, my hair used to be down to here.
Yeah.
Back when I had hair, yeah. So there have been so many times I've been wanting to send you little bits of music. I'm holding back.
Send it over.
All right. Did you like the Ben Susan piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good, amazing player. I really like the guy you sent me too.
Yeah, John Martin's.
Yeah, John. I never heard of him. That's new to me.
A lot of like newer artists have been influenced by him. It's a lot of that like finger tappy type of stuff. He's got some really like ethereal acoustic guitar sounds that
Nice.
a lot of people have copied.
Well, I think we're ready. Are we all ready, folks? Yogi's not coming. Jim's not here, and Yogi's not here tonight. Yeah. Okay. We'd like to call to order the City of Cape May Historic Preservation Commission. It is August 18th, and we are commencing at 6:01 p.m. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. If any member has reason to believe that this meeting is being held in violation of this act, they should state so at this time. Hearing none, if you guys would all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brian, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Becker.
Here.
Mr. Testa is absent. Mr. Carroll? Ms. Pisagno? Here. Ms. Wilson-Strittick?
Here.
Mr. Stevenson?
Here.
Mr. Hammerin? Here. Mr. Johnson is absent. Mr. Hertz is absent. Thank you.
So before we begin, we have 2 alterations to tonight's agenda. The second item under new applications, the City of Cape May at 801, 807 Madison Avenue to remove and replace the existing gazebo has been removed from our agenda. One item to add, which will be at the end during discussion after the public meeting, is an agenda item regarding the adaptive and regenerative approach to historic preservation, and we have a visitor here this evening who will be making a presentation about that proposal. Okay, so you've all had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting, July 21st? Yes? I'd like to entertain a motion to approve those minutes, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Wilson-Strittick, second by Mr. Carroll. Brian?
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Ms. Pisagno?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Strittick?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Thank you.
You also have had a chance, I hope, to review the payment of bills submitted by Chris Gill and Schwartz Law, LLC. Yes? I'd like to entertain a motion to approve payment of that bill.
Motion.
Whoop. Okay,
Second.
moved by Mr. Carroll, seconded,
Second.
seconded by Jake. I'm sorry, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Ms. Pisagno?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Strittick?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Thank you.
We have 2 resolutions for ratification this evening. One is the City of Cape May, 210 Beach Avenue, Block 1000, Lot 20, Resolution 2025-27. And the second is Tarosky at 925 Corgi Street, Block 1093, Lot 12, Resolution 2025-28. I would like to just mention before we review these or ratify these that the Tarosky applicant came before us at the review committee and gave us the detail that we asked for about the elevation, and it was approved in review. So with that said, I'd like to entertain a motion to review or to ratify these resolutions, please.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Carroll, seconded by Ms. Wilson-Strittick. Brian?
Mr. Carroll? Ms. Pisagno?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Strittick?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin? Yes. Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Thank you.
For applications that were approved and/or denied in review, we have the list here. Would like to entertain a motion to ratify those approvals in review.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Pasagno, seconded by Mr. Carroll. Brian, please.
Mr. Carroll. Ms. Pasagno.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Strittick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson. Mr. Hammerin.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, welcome, everyone. Now that we've got all that sort of business stuff out of the way, we can start to listen to applications. But you may recall that at the beginning of this year, we held, between all of us as commissioners, a series of alignment workshops. And at the very first one, we spent the entire 4 hours aligning around what the purpose, the core purpose of HPC's work is. And we came up with a purpose statement that defines that work. So in order to set the tone in the room, I'd like to ask Janice if she would please to read that to us.
Okay. The purpose of the Historic Preservation Commission is to serve as a catalyst for guiding and valuing Cape May's historical, cultural, and natural resources in ways that inspire and unite our community to steward these resources for the benefit of all, so that present and future generations continue to express the unique quality of life we share in this place we love.
Thank you, Janice. Okay, moving on to our applications. Our first agenda item is the Washington Street Mall bid. This is Washington Street Mall signage that is being proposed. If you could please state your name.
Thank you. Paul Dietrich, City Manager, City Engineer for Cape May City.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. We've been working with the Washington Street Mall Improvement District, and I passed out, in this, not part of the application package, I passed out a little handout that you should have at your table that has 2 pictures on it that kind of orients you at the end of the Washington Street Mall at Perry Street. And you can kind of see it, like at the base of the flagpole is the area where there's a lot of shrubbery and there's actually a bench on the inside. Well, the Mall Improvement District on occasion has put up I'll say a seasonal sign that says Washington Street Mall and use it as like a photo op. Well, that temporary sign has turned into a permanent location, and it just doesn't, I think, fit the aesthetic objectives of the Washington Street Mall in Cape May City. So I'd asked them to kind of come up with, hey, let's look at putting a permanent sign at that location to make it, I think it was important to identify on that end of the mall, that you are at the Washington Street Mall. It's a pretty popular location to go in Cape May City, and there's really no ID signage that kind of denotes that. So that was the intent of it. As we started looking at it, so the pictures that I included with the application kind of showed 2 mock-ups of the sign, one with kind of a green background with white lettering, and the other is just kind of the reverse image of that image. And as I was working with our public works director, instead of having them mounted on posts, or we were going to use those same kind of bollard finials and mount it on something like that, we got looking at, and instead to use the planters, the bench planters that are down throughout the mall, and create a bench planter at that location, and then set the sign inside of that. And we felt that would be more appropriate. It also helps with a little more of our safety in creating another additional barrier at the head of the malls to prevent vehicular traffic from entering the mall. From a size perspective, if you look in the picture, it kind of shows where all the greenery that they have. That's about the size of what the planter would be. Still has plenty of access for pedestrians to get in and out of the mall. And we just think that it's going to be a more appropriate setting and base, so to speak, for the sign.
Okay, so since this appears to be fairly straightforward, instead of going around the table one by one, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Dietrich?
I do. Are you saying, Paul, that the new sign is at that little oval right next to the the post?
No, no, in that picture, that's a Google Map picture, it didn't have that temporary sign
Okay,
up there. The temporary sign's probably a 3x4 sign.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually a fabric banner type sign, so it's not even a formal sign, and they've got it on 2x4, like a little 2x4 frame that's sitting there. So it really is not attractive or, appealing at that end of the mall. So that's,
Okay, thank you.
yep. Well, I think the planters that are within the mall, which is essentially a seating bench, we would create it's almost like a 10 by 10 seat bench around that, and then have that inside of that. So not only would it provide more additional seating, but I think provide a better location for that. Because if you notice, the vegetation they put out there, it's just seasonal, and they put them out in the containers. This way, it'll have a more permanent location to have greenery at that location. So it kind of has a second benefit of providing some landscape at that end of the mall. That's what, when I was putting this together, when it was Public Works, I didn't really want to bring just that sign on 2 posts to the board with that look, yes. I don't know where I got to work with them on that language. I think that we may change that, but they've used that language on their social media platforms and stuff. I may have to talk with them to see if we can't maybe switch it around to what appropriate language we've been using. Yes, yes. Correct.
I agree with Tom about the green.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too. The one thing I would say is the words, it's Washington, that's fine, but then street mall, which I think is underneath that in really, really tiny print. If that's the case, I think anybody driving by isn't going to see that it's the Washington Street Mall. And what you want, and that's what you want to highlight as the destination, I assume, right?
Any other comments or questions? I just have one, and that is, have you folks worked on the size and dimensions, height, width, depth of the stone planter yet?
We are matching the existing planters that are out there.
Okay,
So as far as the height and the dimensions of that, we're going to use the exact planter dimensions that are out there. I believe it was a 10 by 10
okay.
planter.
Is everybody comfortable with that? Hearing no further questions or comments, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval. I think we've all agreed that we prefer the green background.
Green background.
Is that accurate, everyone? Yes. Great.
And the size of the street mall.
I'll work on there's some lettering and wording on that, but that's,
Great.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? I'll second. Approval moved by Ms. Pisagno, seconded by Mr. Carroll. Brian, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll. Yes. Ms. Pisagno.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Strittick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin. Yes. Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And all the work you do. It's a lot.
I would ask for the gazebo, I know you have those applications, if you could collect those up and
Yes.
Brian, and give them to Brian at the end of the meeting, just in case I end up bringing back some of that application in the future. I don't have to recreate the whole package,
Great,
just
so-
maybe what revisions.
If everybody could please pass me the documentation, I'll just give it to Brian, and we can save it for next month.
The gazebo application that was next on the agenda. that
Oh, the
we're-
second one.
The second one that we're tabling.
No. I got here, I got Madison right here.
That
Okay.
way I can save a few trees the next
We'll-
time we
we'll
bring
save
it back.
for the next time you're back.
Perfect.
Okay, maybe next month, maybe? Depends.
Depends.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, moving on. Next on our agenda is Dempsey at 665 Hughes Street. Good evening. Thank you for being here. If you could just please state your name and your address.
Ms. Dempsey, could you just turn on your microphone? Make it green. There you
There's a
go.
lot of guidance here, but
Man,
I'm Joan Dempsey at 665 Hughes Street. This is my second appearance before you all. I was here last October and got conceptual approval for our outdoor shower. You directed me to the zoning board and also to submit an extensive landscaping plan, which we did, and we received approval from the zoning board in June of this year. And so we're back here hopefully to get final approval for our outdoor shower.
so my only question for you before we get started is has anything changed from the conceptual review that you submitted?
The only thing that changed, the zoning board asked us to make sure that the the plumbing lines did not go through the shed, because I think they were concerned about an ADU, an auxiliary unit. And then the other thing was they asked for a little more detail on the pan below the shower to make sure that it met their requirement for brown water, but that was it. They were actually quite complimentary of the plan.
So do you have a desire to make a presentation?
I do not.
Okay.
That's it.
So again, rather than going around the room, does anybody have any questions or comments about this application? I'll make one comment. Very nicely done.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
I appreciate your support very much.
So hearing no other questions or comments, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this application. This is final. Yep.
I will make that motion.
I will second it.
Moved by Mr. Carroll, seconded by Ms. Wilson-Stridick. Brian, please.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Ms. Pasagno,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Stridick,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dempsey.
Thank you to you
Thank
and
you.
the board members. I appreciate it very much.
Okay, moving on. Next application is Mortimer at 448 West Perry Street. Front and rear decks, railing, steps, window, garage door. Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
Wonderful. If you could please state your names, in this case, your role in the project, and your address, please.
Okay, I'll go first. Pamela Fine, I am the project architect. I'm at 179 County Road, Cape May Courthouse.
Michael Mortimer, 448 West Perry Street, owner, representative of the owner.
Just to make one thing clear, this is a contributing property, and this is for a conceptual review, is that correct?
That's correct. We will need variances.
Great, floor is yours.
Okay, so as you may recall, we were here last month. We decided to table it and address some of the concerns about the design of that front deck and stair. We took everybody's suggestions. We decided the best approach was to pull that deck back to align with the front of the house, so we no longer have that 2-foot projection as before. And then I also took John's advice, and we played with a few ideas with potentially covering it. So we started with some sketches, some actual solid built roofs, a roof that actually turned that corner and connected to the back. There's a dormer. Tried to unite those roofs. We spoke with Mike's builder, really went through the motions. We decided that that approach wasn't really aesthetically pleasing. The way it interacted with the existing main gable, that front lower slope hip roof on that front porch wasn't really appealing. So we pivoted a bit and did a pergola instead. And you'll see in the plan sheets, I'll jump to P3, we have all the proposed elevations. And you'll see that pergola now on the left side corner. And it basically wraps around that corner. We still have the stair in the same spot as we previously proposed. But I feel like from the front, it actually looks charming. So we decided to proceed and ask for your approvals based on that.
Thank you. So we will go around the room here. Start with you, please, Lorraine.
Sure.
based on what you proposed originally, and then I'm glad that you're pulling it back to, meet the front of the house. I've walked by this a few times, even focusing on it a little bit more, just because it came in to see us last month. I like the appearance of this. I like the pergola. I know Kevin, I think, was looking at doing something similar to that. So I think and it is an odd front elevation, no doubt, but I wish we had pictures of what it looked like previous, because
We really did look. We
yeah, I'm
scoured
sure,
the
I'm
internet,
sure.
and we were left
Right.
with nothing.
But I think the appearance of this matches the streetscape and really matches the house so much better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Carroll.
Pergolas and their adjoining patios are traditionally something that's featured in the yard, side yards, backyards, things like that. A little place to let the vines hang over and get some shade on it, not directly connected to the house. I would kind of object on it, but that's just kind of more of a personal opinion. And if the rest of the people are comfortable with that, I will certainly go along with it.
Great. Ms. Wilson-Stridick.
I think it's an improvement. It looks good. I agree, it's as I said before, an enigma. And I've done a lot of digging around in the archives, and I haven't seen any pictures of this house the way it might have been at some earlier day. So what I see in your proposed elevations has a nice feeling of symmetry and order, which is part of what we love about historic buildings. The good materials, looks good to me.
Thank you.
Jake.
I have no comment other than thanks for your alterations on this.
I think it's very nice. It's light, and it's very attractive, it's very creative. I like it very much.
Thank you.
I think at the last meeting, I objected to the idea of a roof, and you were the one I think who had proposed, doing something like that. Partly because if you look at the property report, there's no suggestion of that, and the house is an unusual house in this, in the sense that it doesn't really fit to anyone's style. Maybe a little bit of a, like almost like a fisherman's cottage or something. I'm actually with Tom. I don't. As much as I think that pergola sort of adds something to that, I also would come back and say there's nothing on that property report that suggests that, and I don't think we should be thinking about that. I was kind of thinking, is it okay to put just like a railing around it that you could hang like plantings from, because it's such a green space in there too. I'd be okay, I think, with that, but I think a pergola is not. First of all, it's not typical of a historic house, and secondly, it's not part of the structure itself usually.
Great. I have to disagree with my two colleagues. I find the pergola really quite delightful, particularly with regard to it creating a sequence that's spatial for the arrival, and it sort of scales down the mass of the problem with this house is it's just one huge uninterrupted mass. So it breaks down that corner so it's not quite so intrusive on the street. And I think that it was quite a creative solution, because getting a roof on there would have been, as you know, and struggled with, very challenging. So I think we're ready to move on to asking if there's anyone who would like to make a motion.
So moved.
I'll second it. And I also want to mention that a pergola is reversible.
Yes.
So from a preservation standpoint, it's not that big of a leap.
Good point.
And I applaud your response to all the comments on a very challenging project. So, of
course.
All right, so it's so moved by Ms. Pisagno, seconded by Ms. Wilson-Stridick. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
I will vote yes. One reason is because I don't change my opinion, but I'm not going to argue with an architect. And it does have a pretty major tree right in front of where you're seeing that.
Ms. Bisagno.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Stridick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hamrin.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for coming to see us. Yeah. Okay, moving on, please. Next on the agenda is, and I may mispronounce this name, so I apologize, Hobro? Is that accurate? Hobro, okay. At 301 Beach Avenue. This is for a new house.
Yes.
So if you could please introduce yourselves, what's your role in the project, and your address, please.
Chris McDougal,
Yep.
721 New England Road, Cape May. I'm a builder and we're partners on it. Our family's partners, that's a partnership.
So does that mean you're representing the owner, or you are an owner?
I'm representing, my wife's an owner, so.
Okay.
Yeah, representing.
We all right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Jared Blake, architects, 3060 West Street in Philadelphia.
Sir, if you could just turn on your mic.
Oh, I'm
just
sorry,
the
yes,
Green
please.
button on your mic, I apologize.
Okay.
There you go.
Got to say that all over?
Okay. The floor is all yours, gentlemen.
And for the record, Mrs. McDougal is here as
Yeah,
well.
she's here too, yeah.
Right.
If you need to ask her anything, she can come up and.
All yours.
All right. So the plan is to build a 3-story, single-family home with 6 bedrooms. I believe you all should have the plans there.
I just have one question. The adjacent lot remains a vacant lot. That's not part of this property?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 2 lots there.
Exact same sizes, too.
Yes, yeah, they're both the same size. One corner lot, you have a smaller building area.
Yeah, corner-
Because you have
corner lot.
the 20 and 20.
Okay, so we can simply make comments based on what you submitted. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so Kevin, how about if we start with you this time, please?
Well, first of all, I think the appearance and design is nice. I think it looks good from a streetscape standpoint, and it fits.
Kevin, could you please, microphone? Thanks.
I think the design and appearance of the structure really does look very nice, and it does fit with some of the adjacent properties. So I don't particularly have any issues with the streetscape. One question, since there's 6 bedrooms, is there a parking challenge with this?
No, we have, there's enough room for at least 5 spots,
How many? Sorry?
at least 5 parking spots.
And you can't park in front of the building.
Yeah.
You have to park.
We have, it goes all the way back to a garage area.
Okay.
You have parking in the garage, and you'll have another, I think we only need 3 to conform with parking.
I think that's shown on HPC 4 of the plans.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that originally. Okay. I don't really have any comments about it at this point. I know we've seen this already, so.
B.
My only question is, the lot to the right, is that part of this property?
We subdivided it, yes.
Oh, okay, that's all, because I just.
Yeah,
It
because
was
it was,
not in relation to the size of it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank, that was my only
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful design, and according to our standards, it does truly fit into the fabric of this historic streetscape in town, so nice design.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I was very pleased to see the rendering. It's dimensional, it's not one of those CAD things that made me go, what is it going to look like? No, it's a very elegant.
we want to do like all cedar shake and, to fit in with a beach town.
Thank you. Tom?
I'd like to see some more detail on measurements of a lot of your trim on this. You're coming on to the American shingle style, very popular up at the north end of the island. And if you look at those houses up there, the house not only looks heavy, but everything about the trim, the overhangs, the eaves, the railing systems and all come with that nice heavy feeling as well. I'm looking at your front porch railing system, which looks very weak and minuscule in comparison to the elements of the house. And Jerry, you haven't been with us before, but although the rules say you can't have anything but larger than a 4-inch opening between your balustrades, we generally say we require at least a 2-inch balustrade and no more than 3 inches between them, and try to get a nice heavy top rail, as you would see up at that end of town, to really make that whole house blend in with it. There's lots of examples of that
Yeah.
around town.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I take it that the third floor front of the house, with a roof over it, is still an open-air room on all 3 sides?
Yes.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Will that have weather drops or anything that, it's
think
not going to
that's-
be a multi-season area that will have panel glass windows that go up in that or anything?
No, we're not planning on anything like
Okay.
that. If anything, you could add some screens that come down to screen it off for bugs or something like that. They have
Yeah.
screen systems that go up and down. If, that's up to if the owner wants, if somebody
Sure.
wants to add something like that.
But nothing
But
more
there's no
permanent
plans
than
of
that.
doing anything like that.
But bugs don't fly too well down there in that ocean.
You'd be surprised.
Okay, this is a preliminary, isn't it?
This is final.
This is final. I would like to see then, if we approve it, that details be presented to the Tuesday meeting committee on the railing systems.
Okay.
That should, really.
You want a beefy rail?
Bring a drawing in that shows exactly the size of these elements.
We use a lot of Intex rails, a lot of they're usually like 1.75 baluster or something like that, and they can be pretty beefy, whatever. But,
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
pick one up and represent, bring it to you guys.
Overall, it's a very good-looking project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I think the Trex rails, you can adjust them accordingly.
Yeah, you can, you build them on
so-
site.
So just the detail, I think that's all you're looking for, is that for where you can minimize the
Yeah,
spacing
keep the
between.
spacing, 3-inch spacing, whatever.
Yeah, okay. Just a couple of quick comments. You gave us the 400 series for the windows.
Yes.
Colors on that is,
It'd be white.
okay, because the details show black. I was just curious.
Yeah, that-
We have suggestions in our standards.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a black fan.
Okay. And in relation to the property to the left, the height of that property versus this, streetscape-wise, I'm looking at, it looks like it's comparable. Like, I don't know where we are as far as the height. Do you have that by chance?
Well, I think we're max out of our, we're close to the max height you can do in Cape May.
Okay,
And I'm not sure what their height is of their building.
okay,
It might be, 5 feet lower, 10 feet low, I'm not exactly sure.
okay. Yeah, just because the renderings, this is a great, I love the rendering that you have that's actually positioned on the site. I just didn't know where we were in relation to the two as far as the streetscape goes.
I didn't get an exact measurement on it, but we did our best to get it as close. It should be a pretty accurate representation.
Okay.
Within like
Okay.
a small.
And then, as far as the site plan on HPC-4, the setback, it looks like it's exactly to the setback of the adjacent property as well? Am I correct with that?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't have dimensions on the adjacent dwelling, but I was just making sure.
I think they might be in the front a little bit further, closer, I'm not sure exactly, but.
Yeah, there are no dimensions on there, I just didn't
yeah,
know.
I'm pretty sure their setback is close to 20 foot too, though.
Okay.
It looks like the adjacent property is a 2-story plus roof, and this is a 3-story plus roof. Is that about right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But otherwise, the design, I think it really fits, fits that, the streetscape well, and I'm curious to see what comes in next to it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to compliment you on the sophistication of this design. And with regard to our standards for new construction, it seems quite compatible with the development patterns, site placement, height, massing, proportions, and scale. I do have 5 comments. First is, do you believe that you need any zoning variances? If this is a final review, we can't give you a final approval unless,
We're not going to ask for any variances for zoning.
okay, good. Okay, so the one thing, two of my 5 issues have already come up. I just want to clarify them a little bit. If you look at HPC 4, it shows that you have 4 parking places outside the garage, which means a total of 5. However, the southernmost parking space extends roughly, it looks like maybe 8 feet beyond the main facade of the building, which is what our standards call for. The porch does not count in that. However, I think there's an easy solution to this, and that is that same 8 feet or so are taken up by the gate. If you were to relocate that gate, let's say, between the garage and the house, because I'm sure you need a gate for the fencing around the pool, you would be able to slide that space up that additional dimension and then still comply with our standards. Would that be acceptable to you?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, our standards specifically talk about, on page 39, a series of lights in the soffit. And in the rendering, at least, there are 3 soffit lights that would not be appropriate according to our standards. Would you be willing to remove those soffit lights?
Yeah.
Yeah. You said they're in the rendering?
I believe they are in the rendering. Yes, HPC-2. There are
Yeah.
3 of them in the second floor soffit.
Oh, good catch.
Yeah, there's a chance they may have been there mistakenly.
Well, because you also have 2 historical light fixtures flanking the door on that
Yeah,
second
yeah.
floor, which would be...
That's why I'm saying I'm not sure that those were supposed to be.
Okay. Just want to make
Remain in
sure,
there,
okay, because that's just one of our standards. We have to make sure we're in compliance. Just to check, this is just a question. With the Anderson 400 series, are the mullions between the lights in the windows, are they SDLs?
No, we could make them do a true divided.
Simulated divided light?
Simulated divided.
They can be either true or simulated. I
Or-
just
no,
wanted to
simulated
verify,
divided light.
because we don't see any detail of that.
Yeah,
We had called it out, I forget where it's at.
it's that,
You may have
Yeah.
It may have been selected on the, I think it was circled on the Anderson thing.
I looked for it. I may have missed it in the cut sheets you gave us.
Yeah. Let me check real quick.
So you do talk about, actually, you're calling for full divided light options. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You're talking about the red square
Yep.
around them? Okay, great. And by the way, you also indicated that the cladding would be white because you have a red square around
Yep.
that. So I just wanted to verify both of those. That's correct, right? Okay. The lap siding exposure, it looks like you're using hardy plank on the first floor. And it looks like the exposure you're talking about is 7¼ to 8¼ inches?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you wanted the exposure that high compared to what would be more, more normal? And particularly the adjacent house, it appears it's more like 4 to 6 inches. Is there any discussion about that?
well, for a big wall, when you have it small, kind of looks busy, in my opinion. If you have it like a large wall, and it's pretty long.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because the exposure that appears in the rendering appears smaller than that. If you scale 3 to the light fixture. So that's why I'm asking. I just want to know what the exposure is on the siding.
We usually do around the 7-inch.
Okay. Yeah, I would keep it to
Yeah.
the smaller of
Yeah,
that,
it's-
7 to 8
I
inches.
think it's a 7¼ panel.
I think it
you have
is, too.
6½.
Yeah, that's,
Exposure.
that would be great.
Okay.
Okay? And then, lastly, it's already been talked about by our railing expert, Mr. Carroll. So I would like to entertain a motion to approve this for final with the following conditions that you could bring before us in the review committee on Tuesday mornings. And the 3 conditions would be details of the trim, railings, and balusters. Yep. Second would be the verification of the removal of the lighting in the soffit. And third is the reconfiguration of the parking to ensure that the southernmost edge of that last parking space does not exceed beyond the front of the main structure. We okay with those?
Yeah.
Yep.
Did I miss anything?
No. You made a motion.
I didn't.
I'll second it.
I didn't make the motion. I said I'd like to entertain a motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion then.
Okay, great. Did you get those 3 conditions, Brian? I did. Thank you.
I'll second.
All right. Motion made by Mr. Carroll, seconded by Mr. Hamron.
Mr. Carroll,
Vote, please.
Yes.
Ms. Pasagno,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Stritick,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hamron. Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Very
you, guys.
nice job.
Very-
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next application. We have Curtin at 911 Washington Street. Welcome back, Ms. Fine.
Hello. Perfect.
If you could please state your name, your role in the project, and your address.
Sure. My name's Colleen Curtin. My husband Adam and I are homeowners at 911 Washington Street.
And my name's Pamela Fine, Fine Architecture. I'm the project architect. I'm at 179 County Road, Cape May Courthouse, New Jersey.
Welcome back, Colleen.
Thank you.
Nice to see you and your husband again. Yep. Floor is yours.
Thank you. So as you just mentioned, Colleen and Adam had met with John a few weeks ago during a Tuesday meeting, showed them the plans, had a couple suggestions. So I'll run through everything since I know this is new to many of you. So first, I'm actually going to start with the P2 sheet, which is the photo sheet. And this is going to show us exactly what we're proposing being removed. So if you look at the rear elevation on P2, you'll see a small bump out, that's 1 story, with a rear deck, has some X bracing, and just below that is a landing and stair. So that whole bump out there is their kitchen currently. It's very dated, non-functional. You could tell it was added on at a later period than the home. So we're proposing removing all of that and cleaning up that back elevation. So I'm going to now jump over to the packet of drawings, and I'm going to go to the A5 sheet, which is pretty easy to compare to that. So if you look at the rear elevation on A5, you'll see what we're proposing. So basically, it's a 2-story addition in the back. We have a covered porch in the back as well with a set of stairs. The rear addition has a hip roof, and the covered porch also has a hip roof. So we were taking cues from the American Foursquare with the hip roof, trying to pull from that style of architecture. We're continuing the crown molding. We're proposing a standing seam roof. Windows 1/1, Colby, all wood, non-clad, pre-primed. And we pulled from the column style as well, from the front porch there, the tapered round columns. So we're pulling from that and proposing those for the 2 columns on the rear porch. Same thing with the railing style. I have a detail in the packet for that. But basically, we're pulling from the house and putting this in the addition so it looks like it's been there and it complements what is already there. We do have a big glass door in the back. That's probably the only modern thing on the home, but everything else is basically the same idea, same scheme, just replicated. If you go back a page, that'll show you the floor plan. And basically that addition is those 2 floors. That back room is a new family room. We relocated the kitchen. The kitchen moved to where their current family room is, and the family room moved to the addition. In that family room, we have a chimney, fireplace. It's all within the room, so you don't see it from the outside. On the 2nd floor, we have a master suite, bedroom, bathroom, closet space. And then you'll see some work being done on the 3rd floor plan. We're not disturbing the roof line. The roof line stays as is, where is. We're just basically relocating some walls to create a bathroom on that level. And so nothing will change from the appearance. And so we're seeking final today. We don't need any variances. We have construction drawings. I have all the notes in the construction drawings for materials, but I'll run through the quick list on the materials checklist. For the roof, we're proposing some standing seam, the 1-inch high seams on the roof on the new addition and the rear porch. The main house roof will get replaced, like for like asphalt. Fascia on the addition, wood crown molding to match existing profiles. Soffits will also be wood. Siding will be wood on the addition. Now, the home does not have wood that is, you can see from the street. So I'm sure there's wood in there somewhere. We're not proposing anything coming off of the existing home. That will stay as is, as far as siding goes and windows. Windows on the addition, though, will be Colby, all wood, non-clad, pre-primed, double hung. There's like an awning style in there too, but mostly all double hung, the 1/1. Window trim, I have some photos of the existing window trim in the packet. Basically, we're matching the trim style. Luckily, we're not removing any of the windows on the main house, so they can use that, for a direct comparison. For the new window trim, the one door that we're proposing is the Colby 4-panel gliding door. That'll be wood, non-clad, pre-primed as well. Columns, like I mentioned, will be the round tapered to match the front porch. Railings will be all wood with the detail included on the plan. All the decking will be wood as well. We have a foundation with some cement porch, again, to match existing. And then a small HVAC enclosure that'll also have wood lattice. There's some wood lattice on the home if you see under the front porch. So we're basically matching that same style. So all in all, we're trying to pull from the existing house, the historical qualities, materials, design, and propose that on this new rear addition.
Thank you. Have you any comments?
No. I think Pam covered it all.
Okay, great. Let's start over here with Lorraine, please.
And I'm going to decline because
Oh.
these wonderful people are my neighbors.
Correct.
So, and since I'm a non-voting member, I did not step down. I already checked with our
Great.
solicitor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Carroll.
Thank you.
On A5, when you're showing the the new rear of the house,
Yes.
is there not going to be any kind of railing in front of what looks like your sliding glass windows in there?
Right, so that's a big glass door. There is a large landing, I'll call that. That's the porch. The steps go all the way across. We may need an intermediate handrail in the middle there, but we do have railing and a handrail going up each side.
Okay, that's fine. And you don't have a height problem with that porch as far as requiring a railing system?
No, because we have the steps going all across the back. The sides will have a railing. If you look on the right side and the left side elevation,
yeah.
you'll see that portrayed from the side. And then we may need just an intermediate middle railing, but as far as I know, this is fine, building code-wise.
And those are all sliding doors, I take it?
Yes, that is it's called a 4-panel slider, and they basically stack over top of each other, so the middle two open.
Okay. That'll be nice. A lot of light in there.
It's lovely.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
I think it looks great. I have no questions.
Jake.
And it complies with our standards. It's subordinate to the main building and also complementary, so good job.
Thank you.
No questions.
I think it's a beautiful addition. I do have some questions, just I'm going to ask the same one I must always ask. 5 bedrooms plus you have a residence above the garage, I think?
Yes,
You have enough parking to
carriage
not
house.
require a variance?
Yes.
Okay. And then when I look at the drawing, there's a new dormer that appears on the left side of the house. If you compare the existing elevation to the new elevation, is that part of the, if you look actually at the very front page of your drawing, right here, there's a dormer on both sides.
Right.
But if you look at the, where it was on the existing, I think it was on the existing.
On my drawing?
Yeah, it doesn't show there at all.
Oh, yeah, no, that is just a mistake. No, they're on both sides, so I'll fix that.
They are?
Yeah.
They are going to be on both sides, okay.
They're existing that way, yes.
Okay. The rear roof is a metal roof. I don't see something that says, so there's a 1-inch standing seam, is that?
I think their submission showed .75 inches, is that right?
Yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry.
The height of the seam, I thought I saw a cut sheet where it was a 3/4 of an inch seam, right?
I had it shown as an inch, but you guys can tell me what height profile you want for the seam.
Usually what we look for.
Inches acceptable.
Inch, okay, perfect. And I'll put that
just
in the
didn't see it in
notes
the-
on the elevations.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then, if I look at the property report, it looks like the windows have divided lights, but the drawings do not. And I'm assuming, and I shouldn't just do that, that your drawings just don't show it.
So there's actually some windows with dividing lights. Yeah, there are kind of anomalies on the whole home. I don't know if there was a window replacement done in its past. But there's a window, if you look at the front elevation on P2, the right side, it's actually shown it. There's a little 9, like 3 by 3 window near the front stair, and then there's a bump out on the right side that has a grill in it as well. Those are the only 2 windows that have that. So
And the basement windows on the...
yeah, and the basement, yes. So I didn't quite know what to do with those, so I just went with the double hung approach, looked at what was there. Since we were proposing mostly double hung, I just went with the 1/1.
I'm reacting to the property report picture, which looks to me like the front windows in the top on the second story have divided lights, but that could be just a trick of the light, I just don't see it. And your drawings don't show that, so I'm
Right.
just trying to figure out what changed. Was there a window replacement at some time, do you know?
I don't know when this photo was taken on the property report, but when I was there, you can see
Like 2007.
2007.
Been before you?
Yeah.
Before you bought the house? Okay. There is an enclosure on A5 for the AC units,
Yes.
and I noticed that's at the level of the basement, if you will. I'm going to guess insurance carriers are going to want you to raise that to the level of the first floor, just because, for insurance purposes. They tend to like it, where it can't flood.
We're not in a flood zone here, too, so that's why I had it on grade, but I don't have a problem with lifting it. That'll help with there's a window there as well in the basement, so we could lift it to clear that, so that's not a problem.
I'm just curious, only because I'm not in a flood zone either, and my insurance carrier had
Really?
me raise it. Yeah.
Interesting, okay. But yeah, no problem.
Okay. If they don't care, I don't care. If, let's put it that way. I was just surprised it was at that level, and I thought, that usually is typically above that.
I mean, for the city's purposes, it would just need to comply with the
Setback.
screening and the setback,
Yeah,
and then the
exactly.
minimum flood height compliance, which doesn't sound like it's an issue there.
We don't have a flood,
If
yeah.
it has to be raised, then that screening requirement still applies, and you would try to match underneath it with
With the lattice.
with whatever you have around the exterior of the house. Okay.
Perfect.
Those are the only comments I had. Oh, we don't see a cut sheet for the doors.
Oh, the Colby door?
Yeah.
Okay, I can provide that.
Thank you.
Okay, I only have a couple comments, but first of all, thank you once again for a very comprehensive submission, complete applications, really well put together,
Thank you.
but that's fairly normal for you. So, just 2 questions. On your materials checklist, when you talk about the windows, you say both double hung and awning, and I couldn't find any awning windows. Where are the awning windows?
Let me see.
I couldn't read the window schedule, it's too small.
Okay, number 8.
Oh, is that the one in the bathroom?
That might be.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Second floor?
Like, where's Waldo? Yes, it's the renovated bathroom,
Yep.
kind of midway through that second floor plan.
So you're just replacing an existing window there with an awning to make it
Yes.
operable? Is that
Yes,
accurate? Okay,
exactly, with tempered glass, yep.
great. And the only other thing is, the existing siding on the house, according to the property report, is it's aluminum. Is that accurate?
I believe it's aluminum, it's not vinyl, right?
I think it's aluminum.
It's, yeah.
Okay.
It definitely wasn't wood. I know that for sure, because we discussed
So
taking
the only
that
reason I'm
off.
asking is because the siding exposure, might be siding exposure night here,
Mm-hmm.
but the addition has a different exposure than the existing house, which
Mm-hmm.
if it's aluminum or vinyl, I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to verify that is correct, right? It's,
Yeah, if you look on the photographs, the exposure on the original house is very small.
very small.
It's like 2.5
Yeah, it's
inch
tiny.
exposure. Yeah. I'm thinking it's aluminum, but I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely isn't wood. So what I did with the addition was I used a quote-unquote normal spacing for wood clapboard, anticipating that one day, hopefully, we can expose the wood.
Boy, that was exactly what I was hoping you were going to say.
I was hoping that we could at this go-round, but, totally understand, it's a big ticket item, so,
Budget limitations.
exactly.
Got it. So, I'm done with my questions or comments. I think that the only condition I heard was wanting to see a cut sheet of the door,
Right,
the doors, quote, yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Other than that, I would love to entertain a motion to approve this for final with that one condition, which you can bring to us for review on Tuesday morning. You don't even need to come, you can just submit it. Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion for approval by Ms. Wilson-Stridick, seconded by Ms. Pasagno. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Pasagno.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Stridick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming to see us on Tuesday morning to chat about this a
Great to
little
see
bit.
you. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, moving on. We have, next application is ACTG Holdings LLC at 909 Corgi. Oh, we don't have a representative? Nobody here to represent that project? Well, I guess we should push that off to the September meeting then. Great. Okay. Give me just a moment here. Make a note of that.
Should we hand these in?
Yeah, probably.
It's too bad.
Mr.
We met with
Chairman, you want
Teresa,
these?
we met with Teresa, like, I think 3 times about this, the owner. Yeah,
She's got more projects coming as well.
Thank you.
yeah, she does.
You don't think she missed?
So, folks, if we could collect that submission,
Yeah, we're doing
we
it.
can just simply move this on to September.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. The next and last 3 applications, we will start with 230 Grant Street.
Thanks.
If you could please come up and state your name, your role in the project, and your address, please.
Good evening. Catherine Healy. 3 residences that we're going to review tonight, 230 Grant Street, 236 Grant Street, and 248. I'd like to say again, you've heard me say this many times, but this week's been a difficult week. And I am 7th generation, thanks to my parents. We go back to the 1840s. I have my oldest daughter, the oldest grandchild of the Healy family, Erin Catherine McCausland. And this is a home we are building for her. And she is able to work remotely.
Okay, if you could please just state your name as well.
Yes, Erin Catherine McCausland,
Okay, thank you. Also at 230 Grant Street?
230 Grant Street, yes.
So I would like to propose that since these are 3 different applications, which we will need to vote on separately, but they're all for
Solar
solar with the one exception of roof replacement in one.
on 236, yes.
If we could, instead of you making a presentation for each separately, just make a presentation for the whole thing and then we can
Yes.
address them separately. How's that
Certainly,
sound?
yes.
Great.
The orientation of each home is idyllic for solar. It is, it sits true south in the back. The streetscape is solid north. We don't have many trees around the homes, so the panels are able to get good coverage in the back of the homes for the solar. Under a little bit of a time frame because of solar present incentives. And that's why I brought the 230, which is not fully built yet, but has been started, fully approved by you. And I have additional full-size drawing if we have any questions today. We all understand why we want to go to solar. Atlantic City Electric, in just 1 year, raised the rates 20%, and they have a monopoly. So, I am determined to have my 3 children have adjoining homes, and this is Healy Point Compound. We are very respectful of the environment that certainly allows our family business to prosper, dependent on the sea, our business. And, the greener we can become, the better we can become. And I am doing this for the 8th generation, and God willing, there'll be a 9th generation. Is there anything else? We are using a reputable a reputable installer, Momentum Solar, that does residential properties. I did full due diligence on them to make sure they would be compliant and get the job efficiently done.
Okay. So if you guys don't mind, I want to cut to the chase here a little bit. So my question to my other commissioners, does anybody have any issue with the roof replacement and the material being proposed for 236 grant? Okay. So one of the things we had asked you in review, because we met, I think, a couple of times about this.
Yes, we did.
One of the
And I
concerns-
thank you for your time.
No, thanks for coming to speak with us.
Yes,
One of the concerns that we had expressed to you was visibility.
correct.
And we had asked for some documentation of all of the adjacent streets, which is not in this application, but I think we can address it tonight.
Okay,
I know I spent a good half an hour walking around all of the adjacent streets. Kevin, I think, did the same. And I would like to read to you on page 51 of our standards, solar technologies are not appropriate for all roof surfaces in the historic district. Minimally, important term, or not visible locations may be considered. So if we now go to page 12 in our standards and define minimally visible, able to be seen but does not call attention to itself or detract from significant architectural features of the building. Features that project into the maximum line of sight, at most a couple of inches, and additions on secondary, but we don't need to go into additions.
right.
So here's the result of my, I would say, rather detailed observation is from Mount Vernon / Patterson, which is behind your house, there's one tiny little
I know
very
exactly.
brief window. It's you can barely see it.
Yes.
My assessment.
And there is a skylight already on that one same plane,
So my
which,
assessment of that is that qualifies as minimally visible.
thank you.
Okay. There's one other place, actually 2 other places. One is from Heritage Triangle.
Yes,
And
down a
the driveway that
long
goes-
driveway.
Right.
That has
Driveway.
often
One
cars.
other really minimal window, which I
Yes.
think qualifies as minimally visible because the Heritage Triangle condominiums block any view of it.
Yes, and there's often, on a weekend, multiple cars on that access part.
So there's only 2 remaining issues that I see.
Okay,
One is and both have to do with the 248 property.
okay,
So the south-facing, low-slope roof over the garage of the
correct.
248 property.
Yes. And there's existing 2 skylights there now.
Correct, and you are locating those panels all the way up near the top, which is between those 2 skylights, and you can barely see the skylights. And the height of these panels, based upon the details,
Are lower than the skylights.
significantly lower. So I would also assess that as minimally visible.
Thank you.
There's one place that is a problem, though,
Okay,
and that is the south-facing roof. Well, it's not quite south-facing, it's actually more southeast. From Grant Street, on the tower that you recently built on the house, that one sloping surface is very prominent from Grant Street. On that roof, you are only indicating 3 panels.
okay,
So from my perspective, that would be the the only portion of what you're proposing as solar panels that would not comply with our standards.
Okay.
Is there a way that you might be able to configure that so that you could get those 3 panels elsewhere? I know you're running into a lot of constraints.
I think we can. And I also think we haven't lived in the house long enough to know the full capacity of the
Supply and demand.
consumption.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we are not doing a string solar. We are doing individual, I can't think of that name. A lot been going on this week. Converters.
Thank you.
Thank you. Inverters. So that you can add, you can remove. So I have no problem, as I've always been forthright in saying, I want to work 100% with you.
Okay, so to be specific, if you look at the 248 submission, it's on panel layout PV2.
Okay.
I'm specifically speaking about the 3 panels that are on, if, we'll call it the east, because the north arrow is
Yes.
shown here.
Yes.
On the east roof of that tower are the
Okay.
only 3 panels that I think don't comply with our standards.
Okay.
That's my assessment. So I just wanted to kind of, since Kevin and I had a chat about it as well, because he went and we looked and we agreed. So,
I went down all the streets as well, Heritage and.
Yes.
And Grant and the one behind it, Patterson, and I couldn't see it in any of those.
Right. Thank you.
so if that's the case, I would like to make a motion that the first submission, well, first of all, are there any other comments or questions from the rest of you folks? All right, hearing none, I would like to move that we approve, as submitted, the first of these applications for 230 Grant Street for this solar installation included on the roof of the newly constructed house.
Yes. Thank you.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
For the house under construction.
Correct.
Yes.
And I tried to estimate where that roof would be. You can't see it from anywhere. So it's on the back and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Stevenson?
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Pasagno.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Stritick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hamron.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Similarly, I would like to also move that we approve, as submitted, the solar installation and new roof for 236 Grant Street, as submitted.
I would second that.
Moved by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Carroll?
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Pasagno.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Stritick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hamron.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
That would be me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So lastly, the third of the submissions,
Yes.
248 Grant Street, I would like to move that we approve it under the condition that those 3 panels on the eastern roof of the tower, the back addition, not be included in the submission,
Okay.
or eliminated, or relocated.
Or relocate it.
Yes.
That is fine, and I can work on that and come to your next Tuesday.
That would be great. So
That's fine.
What I'm calling for is I'm moving that we approve it
Correct.
with those 3 panels relocated, that you'll come back to us in.
On a Tuesday, yes.
Does that sound good?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Completely understand.
great.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Hamron.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Pasagno.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson-Stritick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson. Mr. Hamron.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I would like to deeply applaud you for the incorporation of photovoltaic solar panels on this home.
Thank you.
And for the sensitive location of them, with the one exception of that one roof. So
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you for working with me. I appreciate it, and I'm going to continue another 100 years through my daughter. My father made it to 98, almost 98, so he is a legend. Yes, thank you. He only came to Cape May for one reason, my mother. So it's a true love story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that completes the applications that we have on our agenda. Are there any public comments about anything else from anybody in the audience? prior to moving on to discussion?
I think I probably missed it, Mark Searcher and Jane Lyons, Decatur Street for solar also.
It's not on our agenda for this evening.
We met with you like a Tuesday. I came with Mark.
I do recall that. Would you come up for a moment? We can have a chat about this. It's not on our agenda, which means we can't review it tonight. So did you submit your application through the Historic Preservation Secretary?
Yeah, it might have been too late. We might have got it in a day late because the office is in Cherry Hill.
Ah,
They do that. I don't do that. I live here, so I would have done it, but
okay.
I didn't know.
Unfortunately, since it didn't make it on our agenda, we'll have to push that to September, but maybe we can get you on the agenda first.
Okay.
Can we do that, Brian? And the address is?
I think it's 134. No, I don't.
124 Decatur Street?
Yes, correct.
Well, I just got an email that are you Chris Sexton?
I am.
Is authorized to present, but we need to get this email earlier than the meeting.
Right.
So that's, I think we can figure out the logistics of that. The chairman indicated, get you on the next meeting.
Will you be able to come back in September? I think it's September 15th.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay.
You're Kevin, right?
Chris.
Oh, Chris, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you, Chris.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else have any comments from the public before we move on to discussion?
I'd like to introduce a person that's in our audience. Hannah is one of our grounds working team at MAC. They're every Friday doing all the hard work, and she's looking to go into a career in historic preservation and asked if she could come and attend some of our meetings and start her education. So welcome with us. I hope this was a helpful experience.
So I also would like to thank you for your attendance at our review meetings on Tuesday night. I think you've been to 4 of them now, right?
I think so,
Yeah.
It's been fun. I enjoy hearing your respectful disputes over certain.
Oh, you enjoy that, do you? That's great.
I think I've only heard one.
This was an easy one.
And she's also made it to our awards.
Yeah, I wanted somebody under
Committee.
50, and she definitely qualifies.
She's busy.
Wow.
Okay, moving on to this, thank you, Hannah, for coming tonight as well. Yep. So moving on to our discussion items, I am going to turn these first 2 items over to our esteemed solicitor, who has created for us, hopefully you've all had a chance to review what's being proposed here, 2 different ordinances. So the first one is an ordinance to amend the code to prohibit demolition by neglect.
So this is a concept that's been floating around. I think HPC members before and after Warren's time have been talking about this. And then I think the Quality of Life Task Force has touched on this some, but there's towns and cities across the U.S. with historic resources that have ordinances like this. New Orleans being one of them. And it's to not necessarily provide for the neglect stormtrooper, go out there and focus all your time and resources on harassing property owners. But what it is in place for is to provide the municipality a tool when you have maybe a contributing property or a key contributing property that has been neglected, not taken care of, and it could be even a portion of that. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. You could have a lot of our property reports indicate things like, the rear of the structure is not that remarkable, but the front porch is really something important, and that's what gives it its character defining qualities. And so that is the type of thing that the city could potentially regulate and provide code enforcement and HPC compliance officer a tool to approach the homeowner and indicate, hey, it turns out that you've inherited or purchased or you own a property in the local historic district and that means something here. And there's, a benefit that comes with that, but also that there's an enhanced responsibility, perhaps, to, make sure that that character-defining element, or maybe the whole structure, doesn't fall apart. And, there's a robust notice process in here. I'm sort of giving an outline. But you can craft this any way you want. You can craft it as like the hard-nosed, we're going to go get them ordinance, or you can, dial it back a little bit and maybe, let's get a letter out to these folks and engage in a discussion and see if we can get, compliance first before, going to the, into sixth gear immediately. So that's reflected in this draft in that, being able to, it doesn't necessarily have to be the whole house is falling down. It could be a porch or something like that. And this would give the city a tool to approach the owner from a, this has to be addressed in some way or fortified so that it doesn't fall apart and that doesn't demolish by neglect. But ultimately, it also provides the city the ability to take certain action to secure or fortify those elements at the city's cost, and then it could become a lien against the property. And I will tell you that that's not some new concept in this ordinance. There's actually a statutory provision that's more general for just general neglect. That's something that's provided by the legislature as a tool for municipalities to enact an ordinance like this. So what we would be doing is taking that authority and sort of directing it, on the issue of historic properties. This is more narrow than even the legislature provides. It's not like a general all over city type thing. It's geared towards the historic district. So, and that, you might view that as a logical starting point, because those are probably the resources we're most looking to protect from something like this. So that's the framework. I looked at a couple of different examples out there, New Orleans being one of them, and a couple others, but ultimately wanted to craft something that made sense for the city, and wasn't just copy-paste to those things, because that's never a good idea. So I wanted to think about what might work here, what types of things we might be concerned with, and proposed a concept for you all to consider. And, with that, I would happy to answer any questions about it.
So for this to become part of, I'm assuming that the intent here is that this would become an amendment to our current zoning ordinance. Is that correct?
This is more in the nature of the city's police powers. It's not even a development ordinance. So we certainly could send it to the planning board, but they wouldn't even be reviewing it for master plan consistency because it's not a development ordinance.
Okay, so that's really what I'm trying to get at.
Yep.
The process for getting this codified is what?
It would start at, it could start here, recommendation to council, and then council could adopt it first and second reading.
My second question, thank you. So that would go through 2 readings before it became codified, yeah, at city
Yes.
council? Okay, great. In the enforcement clause, it says that the HPC compliance officer, zoning ordinance, or zoning officer and code enforcement officer are designated with enforcement, and any of these officers may proceed with initiating the processes. So if, for example, we could initiate bringing forth a finding of neglect, and thereby the notice to cure, is that accurate? Can that come from HPC or not?
It would start, enforcement is not going to come through the HPC. It's always going to start with one of those officers, but the referral for them to evaluate that could ultimately start with anyone. It could start with a citizen, it could start with an HPC member.
Got it.
And the HPC could collectively, look at an issue and say, hey, that's really a problem, but it doesn't require that level of starting point. It
So
could
we
be-
wouldn't need a motion, we would just need to
No.
notify.
Just somebody call.
Great.
No, and actually, we're the brakes on the process under this draft. So if somebody were to say, hey, I got this notice, and what are you doing? Well, let's have a hearing. Come in, let's see what's going on with this.
Yeah, that's the clause under, I think, the HPC may evaluate the potential for resolution. That's actually a really nice clause.
Well, right, and the goal of that is to provide any person that's on the receiving end of this with due process. So we have to think about where's due process going to come in. I think the most logical place to have that discussion would be here, because we're the ones that are concerned about historic structures. It could be the zoning board, but it makes more sense, I think, for the HPC to be on the front lines of that due process review. And we have public hearings, so it makes sense to do that.
I think that's consistent too with what you were just saying, that you don't want to just go to nuclear war, right out of the gate. You want to have a process that allows the homeowner to take corrective action, but you also want enough teeth in it that if, they're just recalcitrant, you can in fact go forward and press a claim and start enforcing the ordinance.
But is it accurate that we currently have no structure, ordinance-wise, to initiate curing a case of neglect? Is that
I
accurate?
would say that we do not have a clear roadmap for code enforcement to follow in cases like this. If there was really something at risk and we needed to take action right now, I think there would be some justification for it under a collection of regulations. But really what this is geared towards is, from the city standpoint, I don't want to get calls from code enforcement of like, I'm scratching my head how to enforce this. It's like, let's just put it in writing and give them the playbook to follow, because it puts them in a much stronger position to speak to homeowners about that if it's really a problem.
Right.
And again, this is not the type of thing where we put it in the code book and people will say, well, are you going to enforce it? It's like, yeah, when we need to, and it'll be available.
Ambiguity out of it.
And that's why there's 3 enforcement officers there, not just one. It's like, we're a small town with limited resources, so yeah, any one of those folks should be able to pick up the ball and run with it.
So, Lorraine, as our liaison with City Council, what's your perspective on this?
Exactly like our solicitor's saying, it does give us a little bit more authority in order to make sure that these homes don't end up in disrepair. It's been a concern on a couple of properties I know, but, and it puts people on notice. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to have in our toolbox.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And the steering it to HPC, like if somebody, a porch is, a historic contributing structure, porch is falling apart, they receive any one of those officers can observe that and think, hey, this is a problem. Send the notice, person gets it and think, that's ridiculous, I take care of my house, I'm not doing this. And they flip through the code and they think, I want to appeal this, I want to take this to the Supreme Court. Okay, well, you got to go to the HPC first. And they can come in here, have a discussion about it, what's going on. We can hear from the officer, whoever it is, we can hear from the homeowner. And then it may be the case that they end up in a Tuesday meeting talking about materials, and let's get it to a place where the problem has been abated. And that's why I think the steering part of it, you're probably going to capture a lot of those horses just as they leave the barn, and you might view that as a good thing, so.
Chris, the ordinance does have, I'll call it some kind of provision to bring this to some kind of closure too, right? You don't want to wind up in a situation where you're just basically, telling them they have to do something, they blow you off for the next 6 months. You bring them back in, they blow you off for another 6 months. How does this sort of move itself to some kind of closure and finalization?
So that's where I go into the toolboxes. There's a couple tools in there. Municipal court summons being one of them. If you just violate the ordinance, that's a violation. You can end up in municipal court with its own fines and penalties. Again, that's like the breaking the glass nuclear option. But municipal doing the work, depending on the nature of the work, the city would have the discretion after going through this process to just maybe it's sending Public Works out there to shore up this. Now, look, there's issues with that too, right? Like that's also going to be a break the glass last option.
Yeah.
But the process itself and being able to send a letter pursuant to whatever code section is going to give the city some ability to get things moving.
Because I'm just thinking of property we all probably are thinking of. I guess I don't want to bring it up, which one, but the point is, there's a family dispute, and, there's some that want to do something with it, some that, just seem to want to tear it down and sell it, and I just, I guess my answer is, it doesn't matter to me at the end of the day. What I want to see happen as a historic preservation commissioner is the property restored to its full status, because that then is another historic contributor to the community. And, if you have that situation where you have different parties who all have different interests and, and so forth, I think at some point you can't just let them play that out ad infinitum. You have to force the hand of the group to come together and reach some kind of consensus.
Well, this provides a roadmap for,
Getting there?
we got to make a decision here.
Okay.
And ultimately, that the resolution of that process in this ordinance is, we can make that decision for you. We don't want to.
Exactly.
But-
I don't want to
I know.
make it for them, but I do want them to be deliberate.
Right.
The way this is written, it's very clear what the remedies are, the options for remedies. The only question I have, I couldn't quite discern whether this is applicable only to contributing structures or not. I'm looking at policy under
Yeah.
C1.
I was concerned about that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a fair number of historic properties that just are no longer contributing, but you want to preserve them.
Well, that's where the discussion with this board comes in. Do you, given the remedies that are involved, do you just want to make it any property within the local historic district?
I would.
I would.
Okay.
Do we agree on that?
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean,
Lorraine?
I'm not going to chime in because this is going to eventually come to council. So council could opt to revise it,
Of course.
but it would really be your decision.
So our recommendation, I think we're hearing, is it would be any property within the local historic district, right?
I agree.
And I'm going to be specific about that, because there's 3 different historic districts. So it's the local historic district defined by zoning, yeah? We all right? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So would it be reasonable, Mr. Solicitor, for us to propose a motion this evening to recommend this ordinance be sent for consideration to City Council?
Sure.
I would like to make that motion.
With that revision.
I'd like to second it.
Okay, I'm thinking out loud here as we go, but why wouldn't we make it the entire historic district? You could have a property in Village Green, just to pick someplace, that is in really, deplorable state that's affecting the streetscape, affecting the neighbors, affecting.
Oh.
Why would we not consider that?
So you're saying within the city boundaries?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, too.
Me too.
It actually gives the City Council more of an
Vehicle to
instrument
go to.
throughout the entire city to be able to take remedies.
Just a quick question on that. Aren't there other ordinances on the book that would cover that? Are we just looking at contributing structures?
No.
There's nothing specific to demolition by neglect in the code. That goes back to my.
Okay.
There-
Chris, is there a minimum maintenance requirement? Some municipalities have that.
There is,
There's got to be something.
yeah.
There's property maintenance standards
Yeah.
under the UCC and things like that, but there's really nothing this specific on the books. And again, this is modeled after the procedures that are provided in the statute, the state statute. So in the state statute would be like a citywide thing. We could do it, but this started out as a local district kind of thing. So-
Although, under the very first statement, whereas in 1976, the city of Cape May was designated a National Historic Landmark District, that is the entire city boundaries at the
Sure.
national level. So that would be at least a place to start, and city council can push back. Yeah.
And the reason
Yeah,
for, the
I'm
other
just-
reason, if you think about this, is you could have an owner and a builder who partially construct a building and then walk away from it. Who just run out of money or something like that, and the
Happens.
property is literally falling apart, and, is an eyesore and everything else. Why would we not want to, consider something like that?
What do you think about that?
It's, from a policy standpoint, there's justifications for both.
Have you a recommendation?
No, I don't. I think it's 100% a policy decision. They certainly have the discretion to do it that way. I can see the logic of just having this in place, just generally, because, again, the city does have some discretion as to how to deploy it. I think the more important thing is to get it on the books, and then the tool is available. And the only sort of question I have then is if it's citywide, then that sort of may change the analysis of who's the appeal body, because then we'd have
Construction.
we'd have potentially non-HPC folks coming in to review a demolition by neglect claim. So that was the logic of kind of corralling it to HPC.
But you could actually revise that right to appeal clause to talk about who is the appealing body, or the recipient of the appealing body, or the body that receives the appeal based upon its status, whether it's in
Contributing
the historic
status.
district or not.
Yeah, we could
That
do
make
that.
sense?
It does, but I don't like that for this reason. It's like, which outcome are you going to get depending on which board you go
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
That's the problem I
not
have. I
clean.
would just want to have one, this is our process.
So what's your recommendation about this then?
I think there's I'm not like against it, doing it citywide. I'm just trying to figure out then what's the right appeal process. And I'd have to think about that. I don't want to just like shoot something off the cuff, because a lot of thought was put into this.
Chris, I have a
So,
question.
yeah.
Okay, many years ago, those places in Village Green sold for next to nothing. A lot of them, especially in the courtyards, are in disrepair. So now there's a family that's down on their luck. The place looks horrible. Give me the protocol.
For someone that's outside of the HPC?
Well, if we do this, whole town knows. Okay, give me the protocol. What happens?
That's what I'm trying to figure out,
Okay.
because that's why I'm concerned, because I want to make sure that the answer to that is really clear.
Okay.
You know, it's really clear to me that if you're in the HPC and there's some issue with it falling apart, that they should get a notice, and if they disagree, they can come to the HPC and sort out an HPC issue.
So I have a reconciler here to propose. Since we are the Historic Preservation Commission, I would like to propose that the recommendation we make to the city be within the local historic district.
Yes,
The city council can then choose to expand it or contract it.
I
Seems
think
like that's our purview, right?
that's the easier recommendation to make now.
Based on the way that you wrote
Okay.
the ordinance. Yeah.
Can we agree on that, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that the recommendation is, we think it's a good concept, and you should consider to expand it, and then we can kind of deal with the logistics of that
And
later.
you can write that in the little brief that you presented to city council.
I will say exactly that.
Yeah, okay, good. So I would like,
I just feel bad that, a whole cluster of homes is essentially not enjoying the protection that HPC is offering.
but that's city council's job, not ours.
Yeah,
I agree with you,
guess so.
Tom, on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's, yeah.
We're the, yeah.
Yeah,
So I would like to propose that we make a motion, I would like to move that we recommend to send this document to city council for approval with the modification that be applicable to the local historic district.
And it
And I'll
could
second
be, it could be the, not a protocol, prototype that will be adopted for the whole town. But for right now, our purview should be HPC.
Correct. And Chris can, of course, write that in his little introductory brief, right?
Sure, I will explain it when I give
I'm sure you will.
those recommendations.
That'd be great. Okay, so motion by Mr. Becker, seconded by Mr. Carroll.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Pasagno.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson Strittick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Can I ask Chris a
sorry.
question? Suppose upon inspection, it's found that the house is unsafe or dangerous to the people that might be occupying it. Maybe they'll discover electrical problems, gas problems, structural problems that, I went on Hughes Street that could hit a lot of things.
There's always the potential of red tagging a structure if it's unsafe, and that's not even an HPC thing at that point. But yeah, certainly this type of review could give rise to those issues, and maybe lead to them getting cured a little quicker than,
Well, considering how many people have houses that are not fully occupied or year-round or anything, you know, it's a summer home or a rental house and things like that, and some of those are real problem buildings too. So, you know, can they be locked out if they aren't keeping it up?
I would, the mechanisms that are in this ordinance, I would feel very comfortable following them, and that's why they're in there. But don't get me wrong, I mean, having something like this is an important tool, but it's also going to create a lot of work if you lean into it, you know?
I do remember the city, on occasions, a long time ago, putting plywood over doors to seal people out of the houses. Like the Virginia Hotel was right across from me, all boarded up like that.
I didn't put a plywood.
There's not a plywood provision.
I think they phased that one out.
Brian, you had a question?
I do, in relation to the, to our maps.
Yes.
Where are we with that? Because that kind of falls within this as well.
Right now, it's kind of in my court.
Okay.
I've been doing a bunch of research, so what I've been able to find out, I'm trying to do the etymology of where we are and how we got here. So I'm pretty clear on how we got from here back to 2006. And I'm
When the
pretty clear
revision-
how we got from 1971 to right around 1990. There's a gap of time in there between 1990 and 2006 that I'm trying to close the gap on. As soon as I feel like I'm comfortable enough, and Janice, I want to share
We
this
have
with
a
you.
file for you.
Oh, you do?
I-
Yay!
And that's part of, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Because this is something I wanted to talk to you about, Janice, that I'd like to get together with you and see if we're mapping
Okay.
the same thing.
Yeah.
So as soon as we have that, I think it's time then to go back and sit down with Paul Dietrich, make sure that I want to go through one by one and make sure that every single block and lot number that we are recommending get amended to be within the local district is accurate. So we don't have the problem of folks saying, well, this isn't.
Yep.
We'll know.
Okay.
So it's probably a couple of months away yet.
So I think, Janice, we have our detailed map. I have some things written on there as well.
Right.
Great. But I did figure out finally why they're jagged edges. I now know the answer to that. Did I share that with you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the reason why there's jagged edges is because for a long period of time, when the property reports came in, when a property was assessed as contributing, there was it was kind of put in a basket, so to speak. And every couple of years, nobody was able to tell me really yet what there was a schedule or anything, but every few years, let's say that, the map would get amended to incorporate into the historic district the newly assessed contributing properties. So therefore, there was just like kind of catch as catch can, and that's why we have these jagged edges. It makes sense, right? Well, it explains it. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
It explains it.
Yeah. It gives an explanation.
So much for explaining.
Yeah, so much for explaining, yeah.
Doing lots of explaining.
Yeah. Thanks for asking that, Lorraine.
Thank
Very
you.
much. Yeah.
Thank you for the update.
The next one is fairly easy, I think, guys. And this is another, I'm going to hand it over to our solicitor. This is an ordinance to provide a certificate upon closure of real estate transactions that include information regarding the applicability of the local historic district. And the document that Chris gave us, I believe, Chris, the only component of what already exists that you're amending is on page 4 in bold number 4, right?
Right, so this is geared towards avoiding the, not really a legal defense, but kind of like a just public relations statement that you get sometimes of, oh, I didn't realize I was in the HPC.
Right.
And it's not a defense to anything. You're presumed to be on notice of that when you purchase property, but just to get ahead of that and get people understanding what they're buying into, we already have a tool in place that puts people on notice. We have 3 certificates when people buy a property in Cape May: flood compliance certificate, fire inspection, and a certificate of zoning compliance. So they get those 3 documents when they go to closing, and the title company typically makes sure that, hey, did you get those 3 things from Cape May? So, and the zoning compliance certificate, our zoning officer reviews that, he does an inspection of the property, he says, hey, you're a multifamily property in whatever zone, and there's no zoning violations, and Godspeed. Well, we can easily build in I think, and I'm prepared to be told otherwise, but I think it's a pretty light lift to just include in there, oh, by the way, you're in the HPC. Oh, by the way, your house is contributing, non-contributing, key, whatever it is. And give an FYI at the bottom of that zoning certificate. The font is like 28-point font. We can just kind of fit that in there and not create some new thing. It's just, hey, let's add some more information to the zoning compliance certificate as an FYI to people buying and selling properties. So it seemed like just a kind of a light lift thing that would put people on notice. So the ordinance addresses that, and there's a draft amended
Exhibit A.
zoning compliance certificate, which looks a lot like the one we already have, with just more information on it.
And then we'd also talked about a congratulations for purchasing a historic property happy letter that could come
happy.
separately.
Right. I didn't draft that because I'm not so good at those things. It would have been very dry and not
So,
very.
Janice, I love this idea. Since it's yours,
Otherwise, I have to do this.
and since you happen to be really good at writing stuff, would you be willing to write sort of, I'll call it a form letter, for lack of a better term?
I'll be happy to write that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is there any way that we could do, instead of having something look so formal, and you get 1,000,001 different things at closing, is there any way we can do like a flyer?
I think that's kind of what Janice was talking
Is that-
about, like
Yeah.
a little bit more of a, not as clinical as that, is that what you mean, Lorraine? or-
I do, but if anybody, I mean, you get the whole checklist, did you get this, did you get, yeah, if you want help with that, I can help you.
Yeah, I mean,
I think just like
agree,
a
people
like a
do get
trifold flyer or something
inundated
that it's a requirement instead of another piece of paper that looks legal.
Lorraine, I know when we were doing the standards rollout, one of the brochures that was suggested at the time was that so you purchased a historic home. And in this little brochure, it would say, this is the requirement, so you're aware of it.
Yeah.
In a friendly manner, I guess.
The
well,
windows,
we
yeah,
already
all of that.
have the homeowner's guide brochure that was created by Stephen
That's
when
true.
he did the design.
forgot about
So-
that.
Yeah,
I
we may
forgot
need
about
to
that.
replenish those, I think,
Yeah, it's probably not printed, but
Yeah.
it's on the website, and if we just print them and include them with
Can that be the requirement that goes to closing?
So are you proposing that we do that in lieu of an ordinance amendment?
No, the ordinance is going to have to be there, but that would be there for the homeowner.
I think that's really wise, is to have, I like the way you
Like-
framed that, Janice, is that it's a congratulatory letter, let's celebrate this, right? Yeah,
Okay.
so,
I missed the workshop that you had. I only came for the beginning part of it, and I think
yeah.
you discussed it at that point, so I'm sorry.
not in any detail, though, so don't apologize.
Okay.
This is really good, bringing this to light, because I think that what Janice is proposing is, yes, it being a requirement that you actually get a certificate is important, but what's more important is the sort of congratulations, you just are now a proud
the
owner. Yeah.
Instead of condolences, as some people might feel, apparently. But I would say that I think the certificate is already like part of the process. The realtors are familiar with that. With the letter thing, that may, so I think what's in the proposed code makes a lot of sense to be in the code because it's the vanilla, clinical, just the facts, information that you're going to need and want in a zoning certificate. But the letter is something that could change over time. And that's something that could be pushed, I think, to the HPC compliance officer, zoning officer, as something that goes along with that when it's sent out.
So that's my question, is there a means by which we could track when these certificates are given in a real estate transaction, and then it becomes our responsibility to send a letter from HPC? That's another public engagement component.
See, I think what might be the most efficient way of delivering that is coupling it with the issuance of the zoning compliance certificate. Usually those are emailed out.
Together.
Yeah, and just if, and then it could be something where Bruce would look at it and say, all right, I'm doing the zoning compliance certificate, it's in HPC, they get the welcome letter along with the compliance certificate.
Great.
I like
But I don't know that we have to legislate that part of it. That could be like
Okay.
a sidebar.
Okay, so that's more of a nice policy component.
Yeah, yeah, and it's something we can talk to him about in his capacity as HPC compliance officer.
Okay, so with that said, are we all in pretty much alignment that this additional this one clause, number 4 on page 2, which is the only component of the amendment, really, without all the introductory verbiage that lawyers like so much. That was, let me say that kindly, this beautiful, flowery language that,
Hey, I put that stuff at the beginning, so somebody reads it. What are you up to?
yeah, that's right.
That's all that fluff is, what are you up to?
That's really great. So I would like to move that we recommend that this ordinance amendment be, this also needs to go to city council, right?
Yes,
So the same as the last one, yes?
yes.
Okay, so the motion I would like to make is that we recommend submission of this ordinance amendment to city council for their consideration.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Ms. Wilson Stridick.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Hammerin. Mr. Becker.
Yes,
Thank you.
with very much gratitude to Mr. Gillenschwartz for his diligent efforts in putting this complex stuff together. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, now we have the pleasure of hearing about our Historic Preservation Awards.
Well, I don't have a lot more to tell you aside from what was in the outline you got of our meeting, except that we do have Hannah on our committee now. And the committee is going to meet on September 9th. We're working on a rubric for the judges so that all judging, we talked about the possibility of having the judging happen outside of the area. This is something some organizations do. They don't have a local person or a known preservation architect who's known the people involved, but they send it to another area. So we're not sure what the logistics on that would be. We have questions, a lot of questions about budget, what we're requiring of people. So that's one of the things we'll be sorting through in our next meeting or upcoming meetings. We have our meeting scheduled for the second Tuesday of the month so that we'll be able to update the HPC in the third Monday of the month. And we're going to be meeting in council chambers. We just confirmed that. There was a little bit of a confusion on that. The the application process will be based on the data. So Judy and I will update the database we have already done. We'll include the properties that have been seen since October of last year. And we talked about going back to 2018. Judy said that the pandemic created a little bit of a lull in projects. And if we reach back to 2018, since next year is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And we may not be doing the awards, the property awards, every year. So next year is a big deal. We can widen the number of years we're covering and give awards, make sure that we have good number of awards, of potential awardees. And then decide after that, or once we have our data at least, on the periodicity of it. The stewardship and leadership awards will be generated from nominations, and they're more public. That might be something we could do every year, because the purpose of the awards is really to generate more public understanding of what good property management is in a historic landmark city, and to celebrate it. So we don't want to do it once every 5 years or every 10 years, because it won't have any impact. But if we try to make 6 awards every year, it might be too much.
But there's no stipulation how many awards are given each year, right?
Well,
I think there was a maximum of 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's
Two.
no minimum.
No, there's no minimum.
Okay, yeah, okay, good.
Let's see, what else?
You know, one way that you might be able to treat that, the Cultural Trust has 3 organizations that they give grant money to. The Historic Trust, the Arts Council, and the Historic Commission. So they do one a year. So every 3 years, you know, maybe we'd have the best historic restoration in Cape May. The next year, the best reuse, or maybe 2 awards a year. That would mean we would still be doing it every year, but we would not be trying to give 6 out every year.
Right, right. We didn't really talk about the publicity plan, but when Judy and I were going through the archives, we found all of the original awards material.
What was the last year the awards were given?
The first year was 2005, and the last year was 2010.
Okay.
And there's quite a bit of material in there, including examples of publicity, examples of the nomination form, the checklist, posters, information about the awards ceremony. So there's a box labeled with that on the top of a file cabinet in the.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. John, we did talk about naming, and most of us were sort of reluctant to name the entire event, but we thought maybe the Preservation Leadership Award could be named for Carolyn Pitts.
That'd be great.
And let's see, I don't have a lot of, you know, Jake and Judy are going to develop the leadership stewardship rubric, and then Lorraine's working on the rubric for the nominees. We aren't really working yet on the event, and there'll be like a subcommittee convened for that. But Lorraine has already checked that the Chalfont is willing, and it's a popular place, so. You know.
Would that be the honcho event? I mean, that's a technical term.
honcho. You like that?
Yeah, I do like that, yeah.
Is Lorraine the honcho?
I don't know. Who's the honcho?
No, definitely John.
I think we're looking for a honcho for the event. Maybe Yogi could do that.
Oh, that's what you meant. You need a honcho there. Now I get it.
The event needs a honcho, yeah. Yeah.
Yogi's a qualified honcho.
Yeah, Yogi would be a good honcho. And Lorraine was going to work on the budget. The timeline will, you know, we need to work on that. So.
John, did you get a copy of the rubric?
Not yet.
Okay, I'll forward that to you then.
Thank you.
Questions?
Mr. Chair, no, I think so.
Okay.
The outreach committee, when it was
Yes.
formed, we're also required to present a monthly report. So, I mean, I don't know whether I should defer to Justine to allow her to go first, and,
Well,
or, because,
I think we're almost done here.
okay, all right.
So
So
my
this is going to be too long, but.
No. Okay, so I was just looking into that yesterday to see what the status of that was, and what we had decided at our alignment workshop is that you were going to spearhead putting together a committee.
Yes, and it was Yogi, B, and myself.
Great.
And we did have a meeting, and we just came up with a very basic framework.
Okay?
And that framework, we divided into 4 areas of outreach. And one, I think, which we're kind of lacking in, was the first one was media/social media. And that would be to try to have some online presence, whether it be through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, one of those kind of things. Radio. specifically WCFA, if we could just do some periodic PSAs on the network, just with a brief little quip about historic preservation and how important it is to the town, and then maybe occasionally a historic moment where we could go into a little more detail about something. And specifically WCFA, I don't know how it would float in other media outlets. Number two would be printed. And what we suggested, and I know like Tom and other members of MAC, was that, you know, effective form of public advertising is on subway-type posters. And, you know, we do have the MAC trolleys that are riding all over town, and they do have those places for placards on them. And if we could develop some kind of a clever campaign where we could, just something like to try to get everyone involved in historic preservation. Have them on those trolleys, have them on the kiosks on the mall, have them in every public city building, whether it be Convention Hall, beach tag office, the parks, the lifeguard headquarters, the library. Additionally, brochures. What's that?
Community center.
Excuse me?
The community center.
Yeah, community center, perfect, yeah. And brochures, it was just what we talked about earlier, maybe replenishing the stock in them. And I'd be willing to go around to all the real estate offices and lumber yards and see how they're doing with them and give a report back as to what we would need to get that word out. Swag, merchandise, or I think they call it collateral. My daughter called it, I think. It's something out there in getting a word out. And it would be like shirts, bumper stickers, those kind of things. Somehow we get out in the community. Number three would be community events. And I think it kind of goes in line with what already happens with MAC. And I don't want to, you know, get into anyone else's area, but maybe have some guest lectures, maybe in the spring and the fall. You could have it with either coffee and donuts or wine and charcuterie, where, you know, we could get, again, movers and shakers in the community to come in and get a little more interested in historic preservation. The awards, I think there may be some overlap because, you know, public outreach and awards really are the same thing. Maybe even have a booth or a table at some of our larger events in town. The Coast Guard Festival, you know, the different type of festivals we have around town. Maybe we could have a little table set up there. And then lastly was education, which again is one of our areas that we're supposed to be looking into. And in that, one of the goals that we put forward is that we want to preserve this town for the enjoyment by future generations. We feel that maybe one way we could affect that is by doing a yearly presentation at the elementary school and in the high school. Just a brief little half-hour presentation where the kids in the auditorium, and they learn about how important historic preservation is to the town that they live in. And hopefully we get them more involved in the future. And second and last thing, we would suggest that maybe we could get hold of the Cape May County Technical School. They have a woodworking curriculum there. If there was a way that we could get them to try to incorporate historic window restoration, things that where we could get a whole generation of new kids who would be available in town and in the area to help, you know, restore historic woodwork.
That's regenerative thinking right there.
Yeah. So that was our initial meeting, and again, we'll fine-tune these, but
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would you be willing, Jake, to just take those bullet points and put them in a brief report
Sure.
that you could send to all of us?
Yes.
That'd be great.
it would probably be better to do a written report, probably, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to have that so that we
All right.
all can refer to it.
I will ship it out.
So we'll take this offline, but I just want to, for other reasons, I was meeting with Janet Copeland today at MAC, and at the end of our meeting, she took me over to the Carroll Exhibit Hall, and she's planning for the 250th anniversary of the city and the 50th anniversary of the Historic District. She's going to take that exhibit hall, and on the 3 main walls, it's going to be devoted to the entire town. The 8-panel section in the middle is going to be devoted to the evolution of HPC, and she identified today to me 8, what she was proposing was 8 different significant events that happened starting in 1971, or actually a little before that. So I would like to, she was asking me my opinion. I said, well, this is great, but, I think our community engagement committee should probably be, so can I kind of, let's talk about this offline.
Yeah,
Great.
throw it at me.
I'm
We're
going to
ready.
throw it at you, brother.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right, cool.
Perfect.
Well, any other comments before we ask our esteemed guests to come and speak with us? So guys, let me give you a little background. Justine, could you please come up and have a seat? So I'll let Justine talk about this. I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed. This only emerged last week, and it, for me at least, and she's been thinking about it a very long time. Yeah, and this is somewhat related to the water survey that I asked you guys all to do last year. In any case, I left to go to Canada, and so I apologize for this getting back to you guys so late, but I had a conversation, a couple actually, with both Justine and the Columbia professor about this, I think, amazing opportunity for us regarding adaptive and regenerative approaches to historic preservation. And we'd like to thank Justine Magario for being here, and the floor is yours, Justine.
Thank you for having me. I do not have any formal presentation for this evening, but there were a few points of clarification that I would like to make for everyone. I assume that you've read through the memo that I typed up, and so I guess I will just start by saying that in the very first meeting that I had with Columbia University's Climate School over a year ago, they asked if the City of Cape May would be interested in collaborating on a sustainability management capstone. So I set up a meeting with Mayor Mullock and the city manager, city engineer, and some of the faculty from the climate school. They came down, we met upstairs, and the faculty asked the mayor and the manager for their suggestions or dream projects. And the first item that came out of their mouth was a partnership with the Historic Preservation Commission. At that time, we thought that the desalination project was more pressing due to the design timeline of the forthcoming plant. So we pivoted and took on that project first. It was so successful that Columbia contacted us again and came back. We loved working with you guys. You were responsive. You were engaged. Can we do it again? And can we do it again? And so here we are. I contacted the mayor and I said, again, what's your wish list? First thing out of his mouth was, well, the HPC, see what we can do about historic preservation and sustainability. So I emailed John. And, fast forward the whole process, here I am. It probably feels a bit out of left field, and I do apologize for that. But it would be taking place this semester. A little bit more about how the program
What
works.
semester, Justine?
This fall, this coming semester, yeah. So.
These are graduates.
They are. So, and I do want to also provide a little bit more context for the team that would be providing this type of collaboration and report. So this is a graduate program. It is mostly continuing education students. So these are professionals. They're not grad students who are, kicking the career down the road. The team that we worked with last semester, they were physicists, engineers, urban planners, community outreach experts. They had all worked in the field and then chosen to return to graduate school to essentially gain a sustainability management degree that then elevated their expertise in their respective fields. So they were bringing a diverse set of skills to the project that was actually fantastic to see all of these perspectives come together. Previous capstones have included both municipal, organizational, and commercial clients. Some examples include the cities of San Antonio, Boynton Beach, Cleveland, Los Angeles, New York City, Seattle, Cairo, Berlin, Mexico City, Butte, Montana, and even the United Nations. So Cape May keeps wonderful company now as recipients of the wonderful work that the Climate School is doing. I suppose that you probably have questions as to like how this works on a very practical level, like what type of relationship would you as HPC members be asked to have with this team in order to make it actually worthwhile. So I guess I should open it up to more of a Q&A so that I can answer any of those types of questions that you may have.
I have two.
Yes.
They're very related, so one's a entry level, one's micro, one's macro. So the degree, what is it that the effort that would make this successful on the part of HPC, in your mind, we should be thinking about in terms of what's our engagement? And what does that look like? And then the second question is related, and that is what would be really helpful for you to get from us tonight?
Well, what I would love to have tonight is an enthusiastic buy-in from the HPC to work on this project, but I understand if there's some convincing. In order for a project like this to work, the HPC, or at least some members of the HPC, I understand that there are rules regarding quorums, and we all need to be in compliance with those. But there would need to be some body of people that meet with representatives from the Climate School and the Sustainability Management Program to determine needs and focus groups, areas of exploration that are worthy of the time and dedication of this cohort. So, I mean, I am not a Historic Preservation Commissioner. I cannot give them those target areas. That is really up to you, I will tell you that for the Environmental Commission, Water, Sewer, and the city manager, how we created a team was, or how we structured it was, we had an initial meeting. We talked about what the needs were, what problem areas existed stubbornly, and how we could subdivide that project accordingly. So we had a finance subcommittee, hydrology, sustainability, and demand. And then those meetings all unfolded separately with the requisite individuals over the course of 13 weeks. It worked very well. And
Were those facilitated by the Columbia folks?
they were. So the Columbia cohort then divided up accordingly with 2 or 3 researchers for each group. And then those groups would communicate directly with, the plant manager or the city manager, the EC representatives to organize meetings. Then there were entire group meetings, like briefing meetings where we would all come together. And it was very productive. It allowed the Columbia cohort to achieve quite a lot in a very brief period of time. The final report is 90 pages. It is absolutely impressive. It would have taken the city and the Environmental Commission and the Water Sewer team probably 3 years to create, to generate and analyze all of that data and create actionable recommendations that we are now working on preparing to present to council. So in my mind, it is a very practical approach to taking on projects that may otherwise be outside of the bandwidth of a volunteer-based board.
Is it, like, the outcome of this similar to the water report in that, for example, the HPC might have an initial meeting with these folks and indicate, hey, we have a new NJDP flood compliance rule that's coming out that's raising flood requirements. We're going to have to confront that issue in terms of we don't just automatically want to jack structures up in the air like other towns because we like structures closer to the ground. So how do we balance that? What do you recommend? There's a lot of new materials out there that, you know, emulate cedar shake and things like that. What do you think? What do we do with all the parking and the people that come here when we want cars out of the street? Is it that type of thing? And then they'll
Yeah.
go back to the lab and sort of, I don't mean that in like a, but just they'll look into those things and make collectively some recommendations. Is that the process?
Yes, so basically, what you would want to do is identify problem areas, and then they would break up into groups and then research solutions that can be presented as recommendations to the HPC.
Would they also take into account the latest examples within the existing Secretary of Interior standards and also other historic communities that are dealing with, you know, like Charleston, flood abatement? You know, there's some very sophisticated ways to deal with it. Some of us did a webinar on this last year. And it's really clear that historic preservation advocates must be more aware and able to support efforts to reverse climate change.
So coastal and architectural resilience in coastal communities like ours would be a rather large part of this project, and it would definitely be rich with case studies. And some of those case studies will include really valuable insights, and some of them just are not compatible with this town. And so you would be able to have another team of people sifting through all of those case studies to discover potential solutions that are appropriate here.
Justine, is there?
Yeah.
It sounds like there would be a time commitment, sort of like in terms of meeting with certain members, and there maybe like I don't know what the Environmental Commission did, whether collectively or in a subcommittee.
Yeah.
In addition to time, is there
Great.
any financial commitment on the city's part, or just sort of what the ask would be? on the
Great
city?
questions. I think to kind of answer your former question and wrap it into this one, I can just explain a bit more about what we did in the previous semester. So most of you are, I guess, initially familiar with this through the water audit, which, as was predicted, did not get off the ground because no one wanted to do it. But that was actually kind of a secondary or perhaps even tertiary component that the Environmental Commission created and took on to try to support these students as they were seeking more water usage data at a granular level. They did not get it, so they pulled all the water records, which are actually public, and found that information in other ways. But the way that we structured it was, so the finance team looked at how the city can save money, how account holders can save money, how the plant can save money. The hydrology team looked at how to improve the plant's longevity, how to make it more sustainable, how to find energy recapture devices, which were recommended for the plant, and the plant actually did not have. So there's a technology on the market already that the city could have and purchase and install in the existing plant that could then be moved to the next one. So really feasible solutions. For the sustainability and demand committees, they came up with a sets of recommendations relating to water conservation, outreach, community outreach, tiered water pricing systems, rebate systems, incentives for how the city can save money and account holders can save. In terms of how it impacted those of us here and what our involvement was, I would say, so I was advising the demand subcommittee, and I met, I would say, 3 times with that group specifically, and then 3 times the entire cohort for the initial meeting, the mid-semester briefing, and then the final briefing and report. Each meeting was 45 minutes to an hour. But each person doesn't need to go to each meeting because it operates through these smaller subcommittee groups.
Yeah, I think this would be kind of an interesting experiment with these kind of committees, because generally, when you're mentioning all the other towns, you think of, they have a lot of abandoned warehouses, and you can bring them back to an adaptive reuse as an art center, affordable housing, where we really don't have that kind of a supply. But, you know, what Chris just talked about, all those areas are things that are very unique to this town. And, you know, taking all these talented people and addressing these issues would be great.
Well, you know, they're just, you know, as I said, I am not the expert on what areas need to be considered, but I did grow up here, and I do deeply value the historic character of the town, but I also have an eye to the future, and I think that that does require thinking about what's coming for my children's and grandchildren's generations. So, you know, I hope this is something that you will take on, but if it is not the right time, I also do understand. Columbia has fallen in love with this town, no surprise there, and so they have also actually extended last semester's project by partnering with Barnard's School of Climate Engagement to take the report that was already created and create a new plan for stakeholder engagement. So the kind of support that this municipality is getting comes from not just here, but also from far away. And I don't think that that's going to really go anywhere.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Please.
So, looking at your, and you did a great write-up. Number one, I don't know if you answered the question. Did you write the grant for this?
So I did not write the Earthworks grant.
Okay.
But I did write this document, but a bit of the overview was actually from Lynette's initial verbiage that she had sent.
That
to
she's,
us.
okay.
But the second half of the document I wrote up, I was really hoping to be convincing.
No, and looking at the project focus,
Sure.
I'm looking at that as really kind of 3 areas, as well as the problem areas that you're talking about, that might be something else that might be revealed, that you would have subcommittees with. Am I correct with that?
So, I mean, it's really up to you and the Columbia program as to what my involvement would be at all. I mean, it's not even necessary that I would be a part of this. I truly, at this point, am just the liaison between the Columbia faculty and the HPC. As a member of the Environmental Commission, it would be up to, I guess, all of us to determine if I was needed and in what capacity.
Well, I can give you an enthusiastic response. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that there will be at least 1 or 2 others that we can form a subcommittee. Yeah, this is a slam dunk.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you be willing to
More
work with
important
us?
than A lot of the things we.
I would be honored to.
We would love to have you.
And I have moved to Lower Township, but I am able to continue to serve on the Environmental Commission because the organizing body that oversees it allows non-residents to serve.
So I think sunshine laws probably restrict us to no more than 3. I think I heard
2, I think.
an enthusiastic response from Janice.
Yes, I said I think we should do it.
Oh, that was a we. That was a collective we. Uh-huh.
It could be a rotating group so long as there's no more than 3, and that might
Oh.
give everybody kind of.
Yeah.
That's a great
the
idea.
commission needs to be.
What you can also do is, once you identify like 3 or 4 areas that you would like the cohort to research, like materials, like elevation resilience, then you can divide up as a body which members would be assigned to.
In each of those subgroups as opposed to the entire cohort.
Yeah.
Lorraine, are you interested in this?
Absolutely.
Great. And I think Kevin? Anyone else? So that I have me, Janice, Kevin, Lorraine,
Me?
Tom. Yay!
Well, I like the sound of 1-hour meetings.
She said 45 minutes. Yeah. Okay, so I would be more than willing to take on the role of being the primary liaison for us, with Justine as the primary liaison with Columbia, and maybe you and I can work together with Lynette to figure out when and how
Okay.
various members of HPC need to be present, and,
Okay.
and give us homework or home play. I'd prefer to call it home play, if we
I like
could.
that.
Yeah?
That's good.
Okay?
There will be also, just now that we will be moving forward, there is a weekend in October. If everyone is here, if not, no problem. But the cohort will be coming down to Cape May because they do want to see and explore everything in person as well. And there's the potential that they would be able to return at the end of the project. It's not absolute, it's based upon the grant funding, but the mid-project trip is definitely required.
Has Lynette identified those dates yet?
No, and we can have influence
Okay.
as to what they will be.
Okay.
How about accommodations and food? Is that,
That is left up to me to organize.
No.
I
Lucky
can
you.
See if the Arts and Science Center can handle that.
yeah,
Perfect. Yeah.
no heat in that building.
It's October. It should be fun.
Sleeping bags. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Justine, what else can we help you with this evening? I think you've heard a pretty enthusiastic
Yeah.
support for this.
I think that's it. I guess I will leave with the request that everyone just think about what would be very natural categories for which this project can be subdivided. It was so successful the last time because we were able to tackle a lot by breaking it into smaller sections. And so, you know, there's a lot to explore here, but as I said, I'm not familiar with the preservation codes and really don't even know where to begin beyond materials and you can't raise a house. So,
Are you familiar with the flood wall?
I am.
Okay.
But so perhaps that can be something that internally you can individually and collectively start exploring.
So 4 broad categories immediately come to my mind. Site issues, water issues, energy issues, and materials issues.
Okay.
And then the intersection between them, which is even more fun. But so guys, we talked about photovoltaics tonight.
I would also add fire. That's a, you know, we.
Fire is a big one.
Yeah, fire's a big one.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, we faced that a little bit tonight with regard to the photovoltaic arrays, right? I would love to have part of this be a means by which we could make recommendations to how we might want to, over time, alter our standards to make photovoltaics more attractive, even to contributing properties, particularly as technology gets more and more,
It's getting more elegant.
it's really getting elegant, yeah.
John, one other thing too. I mean, it may not be applicable to like private residences, but as far as large commercial projects,
Yeah.
like with office buildings, they have it, is it LEED? With-
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean, incorporating
You're
green,
talking his language.
Yeah.
you know, but if we could maybe consider that for large commercial projects where they incorporate that.
Yeah, lead version 5 is just about to come out. Yep.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for bringing this to us. Guys, we should be so grateful to her. This is,
great.
you know, we're getting a huge amount of research
Also, I'm
done.
happy to know that Zach thinks it's important.
Well, that's pretty important, right?
Yeah, he has been an enthusiastic advocate for sustainability measures for as long as I've known him. So he's, I think, is perhaps why I feel so emboldened to go get him.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, big thanks to you. Okay, I believe that concludes our agenda for the evening. Are there any other issues, items, concerns that anyone would like to raise? How about a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
Seconded? So adjourned. Thanks, everyone.